It's going to be really fun. And we get to do some ground matches and explain why ground is so good if I think it's good. And also just, we're going to go over some other stuff first. So there's going to be a question I'm going to ask at the beginning of this ground type discussion. And it's going to be, what is the best ground type Pokemon? Well, I already have what most people would consider, and like at least the OU bracket. I mean, Swampert's up there too, but I'm a common Pokemon guy. What can I say? I have no strategy, thought process, or anything. I'm really boring. I like to use the standard generic thing. What would I pick as the best ground type Pokemon in OU? Well, oh my god, Landorus. Like, is it Landorus? Because I see it like almost every team. Well, I think Google would beg to differ. I don't think Landorus is the best, but most people probably would say, Landorus, get this guy out of here. He's a major threat. He's annoying. Look, he's got 2 forms, and one of them's Uber. Surely this guy who looks like he's a Wind Waker boss, he's got to be good, right? Google will agree with me. So I already have prepped the question right here. What is the greatest ground type Pokemon? And I'll even put in ever, just for the hell of it. Ever. Right? Let's say what Google says, and I'm just gonna like cough and oh, Sandslash? It's the strangest thing. My god, like, how did it happen? Like, just Google just knows it. Like, oh man. Well, I can't disagree with Google. Obviously, Sandslash, most OP thing in the game. I don't know what happened. Well, there it is, folks. We already just solved the mystery. Sandslash, numero uno, right there. Great Pokemon. In all seriousness, let's get to the ground type. Let's talk about them. Because we got to get this underway. Alright, let me put some generic ground music going here. And by generic ground music, I'm going to have something a little slower paced. That should be pretty good. Not too loud. Just so I can speak over it. I don't know if you can even hear this. I have to fix something real quick. Dun dun dun. Okay, now it should be working. There we go. Alright, let's get the ground type going. Alright, so ground type. What makes it so good? What makes it so bad? Let's delve. Let's dive in deep into the earth. Ground type is Physical King. It has probably one of the best stab moves in the entire game. Arguably the best, because it has no drawbacks, and that's Earthquake. In doubles, it hits both teams, or both Pokemon that are against you as well, so it's even usable in doubles, and I think it's pretty frequent. But Earthquake is a very, very strong move. It's like the staple move of ground. It's got 100 base power and 100% accuracy. No drawbacks. No other move does that, really. It's like right in between, usually like an Ice Beam, which is like 90, and Hydro Pump, which is 120, but, you know, has 80 accuracy. It's like in between those moves. That's what makes it so goddamn good. No drawbacks. But ground type itself, I would say it's like one of the better types. It completely is immune to electric, which we'll get down to more. It is one of the few types that has immunities. So that's good. And it hits things decent well. It hits decent types. For the most part, it just hits everything neutral. So it's like right in the middle of hitting things. It can't hit flying, though. It's probably ground's biggest weakness. And it needed one, thank God. But ground, flying, and electric kind of make like a little triangle there. So we'll get into more right there. Overall, it's types. It's on the physical side. It used to be a pure physical type until more and more special type Pokemon came out for it. For instance, Camerupt. You got your Claydol's. You got your not even like Swampert, but more and more special type Pokemon came out. How you doing, Delta? More and more special type ground Pokemon started coming out. Seismitoad. Oh yeah, Seismitoad, of course. How could I forget him? So, physically, 109 attack and 102 defense. That's insane. That's really good. I think that might be the highest attack out of any typing in the game. I think fighting might beat it. But that attack, very, very strong. Very good. As you can see, it's kind of lacking in the speed and special attack departments. That's where it falls short. HP, it's about, pretty good, above average, I'd say. Special attack, it's also below average. So not many good special attackers in ground, but there are enough to make do and make a mono team out of it. Alright. Gen 2 and onwards. As I already stated before, one of the biggest draws to ground is that it is immune to electric. Very, very good. Having ground attached to you, never a bad thing. In certain circumstances, it could be a nuisance, but we'll talk about those for individual Pokemon. Immunity to electric is very good. Half damage from poison and rock. Rock is a pretty offensively common move. You can get Rock Slide or Stone Edge on a lot of Pokemon, and Stealth Rock you're half damage on. Very, very good. Now, defensively though, we're hit by water is a common move, and ice, very common move. So defensively, it's a little of a mixed bag. You get the immunity to Stone Edge, but at the same time, man, that water and ice hurts. It hurts a lot. Luckily, a lot of the OU Pokemon that are ground have ways of dealing with this, or a different type attached to it that makes them kind of block off this ice and water weakness. However, I can't help it on its grass weakness. Grass will hit it hard no matter what. Unless it's like flying ground, which are pretty common as well. So, what does it hit hard? Well, this is where it gets really good for ground. Ground, as I said, is a fantastic type offensively, not only because it has Earthquake, but look what it hits. 5 types. Steel. Steel is the most important one down here, by far. Poison and Steel, 2 staple defensive types right there, off the bat. And Rock's like a wannabe one, so we always make fun of Rock. It's kind of my thing to do. So it already hits 3, 2.5 very defensive types, and it hits electric, one of the few things that can hit electric. Actually, the only thing that can hit electric super effectively. So that's really good. It's again, to take care of electric, you need a ground move. Fire is also really good to hit, because if you have an offensive fire Pokemon, you can one-shot it as well. Earthquake one-shots basically any electric or fire Pokemon. The other 2 or 3 we'll talk about, but hitting Earthquake on Steels is good, but at the same time, a lot of Steels are flying, or popular defensive Steels now, but the ones that aren't, you're hitting. So, Bug and Grass are resistant to you. Grass kind of shits on Ground, in case you haven't figured out. Ground gets destroyed by Grass, so you need an answer to Grass if you're making an OU Ground team. It's not bad, but it doesn't hit Flying, and I've already mentioned that a lot of the times at OU, especially, types like Ground and Steel and Electric will pair with Flying to avoid ground moves, specifically or have Levitate or something like that, because ground is so goddamn strong offensively. Earthquake, if you don't have an immunity to Earthquake in your team kind of falls apart. You need a way to dodge Earthquake or Earth Power. You need a Levitator, or you need a Flyer on your team. Almost for every team. I would suggest that for every team you have that. That should be a core thing for your team, that you avoid a ground move, because they're just that common and that easy to get. And if I had to make any suggestion at all. See, somewhat risky. They even agree with me. Oh, risky. Okay. Let's talk about some specific moves that are ground. I mean, I can only mention one and probably get away with it. But other ground moves. All of these are Marowak only. Boomerang's actually really good. If it was usable on more Pokemon besides Marowak, I'm pretty sure some Pokemon would take it over Earthquake, because it can break subs and focus sashes, which Earthquake can't do, but Boomerang can. It does come up with an annoying 90% accuracy, but hey, what can you say? Dig used to be the cool ground move, and then everybody got Earthquake, but at least you can dig out of caves still, and Dugtrio can, dig a hole. Drill Run, don't see it much. I see it on random things that can't get Earthquake but get Drill Run instead as their ground move. Whatever. Earth Power is the special equivalent. It's your Ice Beam, it is your Thunderbolt, it is your Flamethrower. Very solid special move. If you can only get one special ground move, I think that's basically it, is Earth Power. It is your special ground move that's in the game. Other than that, you don't see any other special ground moves. As you can see, look here. There's only like all of these are physical. Earthquake. Okay. You can't mention ground type without mentioning Earthquake because Earthquake is just the ground move. 100% accuracy, 100% or 100 damage, hits both Pokemon in duels and double battles, and on top of it is learnable by a lot of Pokemon. If Aerodactyl, who is fucking flying in the air, can learn Earthquake, you bet your bottom dollar random ass shit can learn Earthquake. Things that are not touching the ground or anything can learn Earthquake. You'd be surprised. I don't know how shaking the earth does it, but hey, to each his own. Another specific note I have to mention about Earthquake that's very underrated is it doesn't make contact with the enemy, right? So, contact moves such as like Thunder Punch, Ice Punch, Iron Head, right? You're actually going up and hitting them. Earthquake is a physical move that doesn't touch the enemy. So you won't get hit by Poison Touch or Flame Body or the electric equivalent of that as well. It's very underrated, but you can't get hit by, like, Effect Spore is another one too. So you're not actually touching them. Again, pretty good. Magnitude's crap. Mud Ball is crap. Mud Shot is crap. Sand Attack is OP as shit. Watch out for that move. Spikes. Okay. So, if you don't have Stealth Rock, you're going to get Spikes. And Spikes is probably the second best entry hazard. Give or take, it might be better than Stone Edge or Stealth Rock, depending on the team. I like Spikes better, but it costs more to get its uptime, but it hits everything that is not flying. So, arguably better. Rapid Spin gets rid of them, though, and so does the Fog. Tectonic Range, whatever. Stomping Tantrum, I'm gonna eventually get on a team, but not now. Thousand Arrows is for some bullshit Pokemon named, God, I don't even want to remember his name. I know what it is. We'll come to it. He's... Just know the guy who gets Thousand Arrows. He's a Dragon Ground, and he's annoying as shit, because that's all he can spam, because he can hit things out of the air with it. So, pretty good. Okay. I can't mention ground. Zygarde, yeah. I don't remember. I want to block it from my mind. That's how much I hate that thing. Okay. So, Levitate you can't not mention with ground. Levitate destroys you. 100%. So you gotta watch out for that. A lot of Pokemon that have Levitate are pretty good. Levitate's probably one of the better abilities in the game. Just because you get a free immunity. So I'll take it. Also... I can't mention Earthquake without mentioning, or not Earthquake, I meant ground, but it is basically Earthquake. So, you can't mention ground without mentioning Sandstorm. It is immune to Sandstorm. It doesn't get the bonus that Rock does, special defense-wise, but it's still immune to Sandstorm, so that is something you have to note, at least. So that's very good, and a lot of ground-type Pokemon, more so than I think Rock, a lot of ground-type Pokemon actually benefit from the Sandstorm. They have, like, Sand Rush, Sand Veil, something like that. Sand Force, as you can see right here. So, keep in mind that Sandstorm... I make a Sandstorm team, basically, because I need one. Okay. Let's go on to OU Pokemon and Ground. Alright, let's do it. I already know what I have to talk about, so I'm already sweating mass bullets here. Okay. So. Why am I doing this by this way? Okay. Here we go. Ah, yes. Excadrill. Okay, Excadrill, look at that massive attack. Look at that speed. It can get faster because of Sand Rush or Sand Force, do more damage. And it has Mold Breaker. Mold Breaker ties in really well with ground types because they hit Levitate. Essentially all that Mold Breaker really does. There's other stuff that it does, but it's usually the Levitate and you can hit with Earthquake. Just keep that in mind. Excadrill, usually nowadays in OU, I actually see it as a setup Pokemon because it's got Steel type with it. I don't like it being used as a setup Pokemon. I wish people use it more aggressively, which it should be used. Because Excadrill has the offenses to back it up. But I usually see it as a Stealth Rocker. I don't know why, but that's what I usually see it as. It's got terrible special stuff and defense, so if you hit it, it'll probably die in one hit. But it's fast and can set up Stealth Rock, and it does a lot of damage. So there you go. Alright, Garchomp. Garchomp has been a terror ever since he's been introduced since Gen 4. He basically said, hey, get the hell out of here, Salamence. Hey, Dragonite, fuck off, man. You're doing something else now. I'm taking over. I am the de facto attacking dragon in the entire game right here, and that's Garchomp. He's been bounced from Uber down to OU, to Uber, to OU. They can't decide where to place this piece of shit. And Cynthia used to, just annihilate you as a, 10, 11-year-old because that's what she liked to do. Felt really bad going against Cynthia's Garchomp, but, I have painful memories of it, so that's why it must die. Now, like most ground types in OU, it is actually 4 times weak to Ice. So Ice is critical against Garchomp, and it usually can one-shot it. I usually see Garchomp in more of a Rocky Helmet, Stealth Rock, Rough Skin, and again, similar to Excadrill, it hits hard, and it, can soak up damage that's not special. I think it's better than Excadrill at doing this. Excadrill, again, should probably be more attack-focused, but Garchomp with Rough Skin and Rocky Helmet will take chunks of your HP away if you just melee it. So, you gotta watch out. It's actually got pretty respectable special attack and special defense, too. So that's something to keep in mind. You probably won't see any special attacks, but maybe it'll run Fire Blast or something like that. 102 speed is also really good, too. So Garchomp is a threat. Its stats are really good in all the right places, and it's better than its Mega Evolution. That's saying something. So it's faster than its Mega Evolution, and it can hold an item. That's probably better than its Mega Evolution. Its Mega Evolution, I think, is BL. So Garchomp is, ever since he's been introduced, he's been a nuisance in OU. No questions asked. His set is usually Outrage, Earthquake, Stealth Rock, and then pick another move that you want for filler. Okay. Oh, yes. So what Google tried to lie about in terms of being the best Pokemon, we got Landorus. His other form is Uber, which is, thank God, Wind Waker boss is not going to be in this. Or Wind Waker Cloud guy is not going to be in it. But Landorus has Intimidate, so he makes a very good wall. He's got 600 base stats total, which is, again, ridiculous. Look at 145 attack, 90 defense that only boost up with Intimidate. He's even got good special attack just in case you wanted to do some crazy stuff on him, which I've seen. Special defense is 80. If your special defense is your lowest stat at 80, holy God, you're in a good spot. And 91 speed. This thing has U-turn, Stealth Rock, Earthquake, and then maybe a Z-ring on it. I see it, a Rocky Helmet, something like that. Knockoff. That's basically all of its sets right there. But you just gotta watch out for it. Common threat, you'll see this thing 1 out of 3 games. Probably the most common ground-type Pokemon you'll see. Okay. Swampert. I just talked about Swampert recently, because I just did my water vid, but Swampert is like the biggest benefactor from Rain Dance in the entire game. With Rain Dance, his speed like doubles, I believe it's, or it's like 1.5, something ridiculous. So this 70 speed is now redonkulous on a guy who has 150 attack. His defense is 110, and his special defense is 110. So not only is he real hard to take down without using a grass move, this thing will dent holes in you like no other. It also looks like it took way too much steroids, but what can you do? I've already kind of talked about Swampert, so I'm kind of being a little vague on him. But basically, if he has a Rain Dance team, expect to see Swampert if you see Pelipper. And expect to take Earthquakes and Waterfalls or Aqua Tails all day and night. That's what Swampert will do. And lastly but not least, Zygarde. I see all kinds of stuff on Zygarde. Usually its sets include Dragon Dance, or 1,000 Arrows, Outrage, and then another move of some sort. Big thing is about Zygarde is it can also use subsets, and 1,000 Arrows does not make flying types safe against Zygarde. So with its 100 attack, 1,000 Arrows will chunk the living shit out of you, and it's also got really good special defense, and again, good speed. It's got really good stats in the right places, but it's, again, 4 times weak to Ice, So ice are a common theme against these ground type guys. Get an ice guy in there and get him fast. Or grass. But a lot of these guys need ice specifically to counter them. Usually that's not water to take out ground types in OU. I have to mention one more ground type specifically, not Diggersby. There's another one I want to mention specifically. Where is he? Gliscor. Gliscor's the guy I want to mention. If you see Gliscor, he usually has a Toxic Orb because he has Poison Heal. So you need to preempt a knockoff or a trick or something like that. Get the Toxic Orb away from him, or else he'll be really hard to, you know, stop because he's got Roost and like Earthquake and stuff. And since he's flying up in the air, its fighting moves are also really bad against him, or rock moves, or because of the ground and such. Only ice moves can really kill this thing. But again, Gliscor is used to be a major threat, but they kind of dumbed him down. I think Landorus kind of took over. Landorus is basically the king of ground, so keep that in mind. That you'll probably see, like I said, Landorus basically every game. Alright. Now let's get into specifics on terms of team. We're gonna grind out what it means to make a good ground type team.